Welcome back, guys, to part 3 of my 6-part installment of these MLB end of season award prediction videos. I've already gone over Rookie of the Year for both leagues. Yesterday, the Rookie of the Year was actually announced as the winners, and it was Ronald Acuna Jr. He beat out Juan Soto and Walker Buehler, and Shohei Ohtani beat out Miguel Andujar and Gleyber Torres. The Rookie of the Year turned out exactly as I expected. I predicted that Miguel Andujar should win, but Ohtani would win. I just think Ohtani was going to win that just off name and popularity and all that stuff alone. So I was pretty good on Rookie of the Year. Now it is time to get into the Cy Youngs. I know I said I was going to have this video out a little bit earlier, but with all these fires in Southern California, some of them were getting kind of close to affecting my house. I had some other priorities to deal with, but either way, we're doing it now. Let's go ahead and talk about the National League Cy Young. Honestly, guys, I feel like this one is it's pretty cut and clear who the winner should be, but I'm still going to go over all 3 of the candidates, give them their time, show off their seasons, go over their stats. I'm going to compare all 3 of them because all 3 of these guys really did have really strong seasons. I just think that most people can agree there is a clear-cut winner in this debate. So for the National League Cy Young, you've got 3 candidates. You've got Max Scherzer from the Washington Nationals. Max Scherzer is always a part of the Cy Young mix. He's always so good. He's so consistent. Then you've got kind of the young gun. You've got Aaron Nola in the mix from the Philadelphia Phillies. Aaron Nola had probably a breakout year. A lot of Phillies fans knew how good Aaron Nola was going into this season, but this is the year where he really became like that household name, or that, you know, that name you think of when you think of an ace starting pitcher. Because when the Phillies went out and got Jake Arrieta, everybody was thinking that Jake Arrieta was going to be the ace, but no, Phillies fans will tell you that Aaron Nola was going to be the ace from the start, and he was just so good this year. And the third finalist, Jacob DeGrom from the New York Mets. Jacob DeGrom honestly put up like a historic season of pitching. We haven't seen a lot of seasons like he put up in 2018. He was lights out across the board, across all the teams he played. Jacob DeGrom was just a fantastic pitcher in 2018. So let's go ahead and talk about these guys' seasons individually. We're going to go ahead and start it off with Max Scherzer. So in 2018, for the Washington Nationals, Max Scherzer pitched 220.2 innings pitched. He had a 2.53 ERA in those 220 innings. He gave up 150 hits. He only gave up 62 earned runs. He led the National League in strikeouts with 300. He had a 300 strikeout season for the first time in his career. You guys might think that Max Scherzer has always been in that 300 mark. No, his highest before that was 284. This is the first year where he actually hit 300 strikeouts, so major kudos to him for that. He also had a whip of 0.911, a strikeout per 9 ratio of 12.2. He gave up 0.9 home runs per 9. He only had 51 walks in the season to go with his 300 strikeouts. Max Scherzer did a really good job of keeping guys off base this year. He didn't have the highest or the lowest ERA in the National League, but he had a really good tendency to keep guys off base and to not let a lot of base runners run the bases and try and score runs. Everybody knows how good Max Scherzer is. Everybody knows how electric he can be, how fierce and intense he gets on the mound. He really is just one of the most fun pitchers to watch in all of baseball, let alone just the National League. It's unfortunate that the Washington Nationals didn't put together as good of a season as they had hoped. I mean, you guys think about the Nationals this year. They had Max Scherzer, a Cy Young candidate. They had Juan Soto, a Rookie of the Year candidate. They had Anthony Rendon, and then they had Bryce Harper, who had a down year on average, but he actually had a pretty good year offensively for the most part. There were a lot of things going right for the Nationals. They just couldn't put it all together when they needed to, but Max Scherzer was definitely a shining point in that Nationals team. Now we're going to go ahead and move over to the Philadelphia Phillies ace, Aaron Nola. Let's take a look at what type of season he put together for the Phillies. In 2018, Aaron Nola pitched 212 innings. He had a 2.37 ERA in those innings. He started 33 games. He only gave up 17 home runs, 56 earned runs, 224 strikeouts, only 149 hits in those 200 innings. He had a whip of 0.975. He only gave up 58 walks. He had a strikeout per 9 of 9.5, a home runs per 9 of 0.7. He had a 10.0 WAR on the season. That actually led all of the National League pitchers. It's kind of crazy that Aaron Nola's WAR was better than Jacob DeGrom's, but he did lead the National League in WAR for pitchers. So really, really good stuff from Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola's got a really interesting delivery. It's kind of sidearm, it's kind of 3/4, and he's got a really interesting curveball. He's really deceptive on the mound, and it might not look like it right off the bat, but you watch him pitch, he's got a lot of really good weapons in his arsenal. Similar to Max Scherzer, Aaron Nola did a really good job at keeping guys off base, not really allowing a lot of those big innings with like 2-out rallies and stuff like that. There just weren't a ton of base runners against Aaron Nola, and even home runs. He only allowed 17 home runs. He wasn't giving up very many extra base hits to begin with, so Aaron Nola really did a good job, similar to Max Scherzer, of keeping guys off base and just putting his team in a lot of different positions to win. And here's where the fun one comes in, guys. Talking about putting his team in positions to win, we're gonna talk about Jacob DeGrom. Taking a look at Jacob DeGrom's amazing 2018 season, guys. He pitched 217 innings and an ERA of 1.70. A sub-2 ERA in over 200 innings is incredible. He had 269 strikeouts. He only gave up 41 earned runs on the entire season. That's a career low for him. He only gave up 10 home runs. That's the second lowest he's given up since his rookie year, and he pitched almost 70 more innings. So, I mean, that's a pretty good difference right there. He had a 1.98 fielding independent pitching, a 2.16 ERA plus, only gave up 46 walks on the year, only 152 hits. He had a whip of 0.912, home runs per 9 of 0.4, strikeouts per 9 of 11.2. Just an incredible season overall for Jacob DeGrom. The one eyesore on Jacob DeGrom's entire resume for 2018 is the win-to-loss ratio. He had a 10-9 win-loss ratio, or win-loss record. And I'm just gonna say this, if you think that win-loss record, if you think the record for a pitcher should have any impact on this voting or any impact in determining how good or bad of a season this guy had, you should not be able to think about baseball. That is the dumbest thing. The win-loss thing for pitchers is the stupidest stat, maybe in sports. Jacob DeGrom threw so many good games and the Mets just couldn't score runs. That's it. He can't control what the offense does. He can only control what he does on the mound. If he's throwing 8 innings and only allows 1 run, that's an amazing night. But if the Mets can't score in those 8 innings and they lose the game 1-0, he gets penalized for that. That's not his fault. So please do not bring a win-loss record argument into the Cy Young. It does not matter. Okay, now let's take a look at all 3 of these guys and kind of go, stat by stat and see who was the best out of the 3 in all of them. So for ERA, Jacob DeGrom led in both ERA and ERA+. Max Scherzer threw the most innings. Aaron Nola allowed the fewest amount of hits, but only 1 less than Jacob DeGrom did. So they were pretty much right on the same level. Jacob DeGrom had the lowest amount of earned runs, the lowest amount of home runs, the lowest amount of walks. Max Scherzer had the lead in strikeouts and the whip stat. He also led in strikeouts per 9, and then Jacob DeGrom led in home runs per 9 and walks per 9. Jacob DeGrom also led the National League in WAR at 10. I know I said that Aaron Nola led in pitching WAR, but pitching WAR is different than just regular wins above replacement. So Jacob DeGrom had the highest WAR in the National League. He also led in earned runs and home runs per 9. And Max Scherzer led in whip, home runs per 9, and strikeouts, of course. Here's another thing I looked at when I was, comparing all these pitchers. I went into their game logs and I calculated their ERAs against playoff teams. I want to see which guys were actually good against really good competition, because all of these guys are in the National League East. They're all going to be pitching against Atlanta, and then of course they're going to be pitching against the other National League teams too, like the Dodgers, Rockies, the Cubs, and the Brewers. This is where I really think that this debate kind of becomes a little bit far. I think a clear-cut winner is kind of chosen in this. Against playoff teams, Max Scherzer had a 3.38 ERA. Not bad, not terrible. That's fine, 3.38. You allow 3.5 runs per game against playoff teams, you might be able to get the job done if your offense can put a couple runs together. You never know. Aaron Nola had exactly a 3 ERA against playoff teams. That is really good. Jacob DeGrom, had a 1.77 ERA against playoff teams. He had the same ERA that he had all season against playoff teams. He was just as good against playoff teams as he was against the rest of the league. Jacob DeGrom, to me, guys, is the clear-cut winner for the National League Cy Young. He had the best season out of all of these guys statistically. He didn't lead in everything, like obviously Scherzer had 300 strikeouts, but DeGrom had like 270. Like he wasn't that far off. So everything in this debate really leads towards DeGrom. He was the most consistent pitcher year-round. He didn't allow a lot of runs. He had a sub-2 ERA and about 220 innings pitched. He had a 1.77 ERA against teams who made the playoffs, and he pitched against a lot of them. It was like over 80 innings pitched. Jacob DeGrom is the clear-cut winner for the National League Cy Young. I think out of all the awards in the entire league, I think this is the one that you can pretty much just say, yeah, he's the guy. There's not really a ton of debate. There might be a lot of debate between the 2 and 3 guys, but really, it doesn't matter because Jacob DeGrom is going to win the Cy Young and should win the Cy Young for the National League. It's just unfortunate that Jacob DeGrom didn't really get a lot of support from his offense all season, and that really shouldn't have an effect on the voting. I really hope that people don't bring the win-loss record into account when they're going on the voting ballot. Like, it just, that can't happen. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Jacob DeGrom is the Cy Young winner? Do you think that maybe Scherzer could edge him out? Do you think the win-loss matters? Please say no. I do not want to read those comments. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. If there's anything you feel like I missed that I didn't talk about any of these players, leave that down there too. Make it kind of a discussion down there. Let's talk about it. But anyway, guys, that is my opinion on the National League Cy Young. Jacob DeGrom, I think, should and will win. But either way, guys, drop a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.